Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Yep, it's working, Christy. Yay! Okay. Thanks for being willing to help me out with this.
Not a problem.
And go over your individual plan, and then we'll take a little break, and we're going to do your observation.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. Let's go over, you sent me the plan,
Yes.
and then I developed some questions.
Okay, and my goal this year would be to use formative and summative data to drive my instruction in my classroom.
Great. So, a focus on data, which is one
Yes.
of our building goals.
Yes.
Okay. So, as I looked at your plan, which I think is a great plan, because we have to become better at formative and summative assessment, because ITBS isn't everything.
Correct.
So we got to really start to hone in on that formative assessment stuff. What do you, when you think about your data and your kids, what do you think you're going to look for as you collect additional data, formative as well as summative?
I'm going to look for patterns with certain students that'll help me make groups.
Okay.
In case I need to do some intense instruction for tier interventions.
Okay.
I am going to look to see how much growth they have made throughout the year or semester. I'm going to see if there's a problem that a lot of kids have to help me drive my instruction on what I'll be teaching next, and to make my groups in case I need to have tier groups.
Great. Great. So I'm thinking this could be really powerful as we look at RTI.
Yes, extremely powerful, especially
Okay.
since that's how, if I do need, some intensive instruction or specially designed, this will be good data to bring into a meeting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another question, this is a more of a reflective question. What do you think when you start collecting this data, what do you think is going to encourage you? What do you think might discourage you?
Encouraging me is going to be small little bits of data that's going to show growth, because sometimes we wait till the end of the year and we'll take that test. This will show me if I'm teaching an objective, whether my kids understood it, and that will encourage me to continue on or to decide what to do next with my student.
Okay.
Discourage me, collecting the data. The only thing that's probably going to discourage me is that I don't have a complete understanding right now.
Okay.
And so once I start to learn more and I talk to people who have used it and it's been successful, how they have used it will be helpful to me. It'll be a trial and error, and some things are going to work and some things aren't.
Okay. Great. One thing we talked about you creating in your classroom was a data wall.
Correct.
And I guess what areas of need do you anticipate are going to arise as a result of trying to implement this?
Well, one thing is I'm going to have to decide I'm not going to do everything. I want to hone in on one area.
Okay.
So that is something I'm trying to decide what I'm going to use,
Okay.
how I'm going to present it. I want to make sure that the special ed teacher I co-teach with knows what I'm talking about. I want to make sure my parents know, and I want to have, the support of administration.
Mm-hmm.
So in case I do need resources outside of what I have, we're all going to work together as a team.
Okay. So you're trying to decide reading or math.
Correct.
So you kind of want to think about, and unfortunately we don't have a universal screener yet, possibly, I'm trying to think, the BRI
Mm-hmm.
could be one of those
Yeah.
assessments.
And the other thing I'm going to anticipate is if I'm going to use a data wall, I'd like to see examples of how it's been successful in other schools. And I'll use an example. Council Bluffs uses below basic, proficient, and advanced. I'd like to know what their criteria is for meeting those, how often they do it,
Okay. So, next steps would
Mhm.
be, which is my next question, is possibly to set up a time to go see it.
I would like to have the opportunity to visit and talk to staff who have found it to be successful and what works for them, what changes they might make, so that I would have a better understanding going into my classroom.
Okay. Awesome. Well, as I think back on, or as we've had this conversation, I think that there are some things that I can do to help you.
Okay.
Continued feedback on my walkthroughs.
Yeah, yes.
Any information sharing, I do have some connections in Council Bluffs.
Okay.
I think we could easily make it available for you to go and visit.
Good.
And maybe this becomes a grade level thing.
Mm-hmm. I can share it during PLC.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think this is a great start. I would love to see I'd love to see a data wall of our building, so
Okay.
that would be awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll get you visiting,
Okay.
and then, we can work as a team to get that data wall up in your classroom.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Standards, what, you aligned it to 3
I
standards.
aligned it to 3. The standard 3 is demonstrating confidence in planning and preparing for instruction. This data will help me guide my instruction on what kids need and any additional things I need to bring in for those who aren't proficient.
Okay,
Standard 4 is using strategies to deliver instruction that meets multiple learning needs of students. I co-teach in the class that I want to use this data wall for, and besides the students on IEPs, I want to make sure the higher achieving students have the opportunity, if I'm using this formative, I might give them an additional,
Perfect.
something that's a little bit more challenging.
okay,
And number 5, using a variety of methods to monitor student learning. That's really my goal, is to use not just a test, but to use formative and summative assessment.
awesome. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now shut off the camera.